Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. A while ago, when I discussed the CCP's interference with the US election, I played an audio file of a Chinese-speaking man ordering fake ballots from another Chinese-speaking man in China. Today, we have the pleasure of inviting the man who was ordering the fake ballots to talk about his experiences while investigating this issue. First, let's see who this person is.
Hi, my name is Zeng Olivator, and I'm 24 years old.
Actually, Olivites comes from a so-called red family in China and is often referred to as the third generation red. He is also a descendant of the Manchu royal family. His grandfather was a minority high-level CCP official bestowed with the title the founder of Republic. His father once served as the vice president of the state-owned China Everbright Bank, but was then detained and died in prison during Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign. Olivites is now a political activist living overseas. Now, let's listen to the audio file first. Please read the English transcript on the screen if you don't understand Chinese.
不是问题，主要是那个，只要你那个钱到位，那量不是问题，都可以的。
因为它那个油墨油那个印刷的是不一样的。
印刷不一样是吧？
对啊，因为你仔细看一下，它那个选票的那个印刷是不一样的。
那个没关系，我会看着那个图片来做这边。
然后到时候你们这边发物流的话怎么发？因为我这边订的话就是大量的订这样子。
大量订那个发物流的话，一般好像也要好几天哦，物流比较慢。
发国际可以吗？
我看一下，发国际好像也是走物流啊。
可以走是吧？你这边费用的话多少钱打印一张？我这边现在叫人给你转。
那个跟上次一样啊。
OK， 好，我知道了。你再把二维码发我一遍，谢谢。
然后那个还欠一点那个。
知道。
给我。
OK， 好。
As you can tell, the audio file is Olivites himself calling a factory in Guangzhou, China. He pretended that he wanted to order some fake ballots from the factory and negotiated quantity, price, method of transportation and payment, etc. I asked Olivites when and why he wanted to make such a call. He said it was right after election day when he felt something was wrong and didn't end up.
November 3rd, I was on plane and trying to travel and go somewhere. Then before I take on the plane, then I check my phone. I said, okay, this is Mr. President Donald Trump. He get very high. So I said, okay, he's winning. So I have nothing to worry about it. God bless him. But after I landed, I back to my hotel, I check it, I sleep over, then I wake up in the morning, I check again. Biden wins. That's ridiculous.
Like many others, Olivites was not convinced by the abnormal jump of Biden's votes mysteriously coming in after midnight, as reflected in the now famous Biden curve, so he started doing some of his own investigations. As a young man who has a lot of connections in the overseas Chinese student community, Olivites knew long ago that many students bought fake IDs so that they could go to places that are not open to minors. So he kind of knew people in the circle where fake IDs are traded. He soon found a clue and started talking to someone in Guangdong, China, who claimed that they could print anything. This is the Twitter account of the factory Olivites contacted. Its Twitter account name is 正规票据, which means official invoices. Their Chinese name also means that they can issue invoices on behalf of others. And they openly advertise that they can print invoices of all kinds. Olivet said that he had heard about some fake ballots had been printed in China, but he wasn't very convinced. So he asked an assistant to show this factory some samples of US ballots, and the factory owner exclaimed that they had printed this kind of material before, and they still had a lot of such things that had not been shipped yet. Olivet found it hard to believe, but the factory owner soon sent him samples of ballots that they printed before. There were samples from Florida, North Carolina, and Mississippi. Then, in order to get evidence, Olivet pretended to be a customer and negotiated with the factory. In order to make them believe that he was really a customer, he even paid $5,000 in advance. I asked Olivet how many calls he had to make to get the admission we heard at the beginning of this program.
7, 8. That's only like one deal. If you're doing the deal, you have to first negotiate. Second, you have to be a real.
Olivet also showed me 2 screenshots of his chat record with the owner of the printing factory. The conversations in the first screenshot show Olivet talking to the factory owner about long-term cooperation and the factory owner asking for payment. The second screenshot shows the factory owner saying that he doesn't understand English, admitting that they had printed the same documents before. They could print the materials in 3 days, and the materials couldn't be shipped directly to the US, as they could possibly be checked by the customs. So their previous materials were shipped to Canada instead. Sometimes they mixed these materials with other goods such as medical supplies, etc. The factory owner also admitted that their ink and paper are the same quality as the original documents, but they couldn't duplicate the same metal pattern and the anti-counterfeiting mark on it.
It's like a puzzle. Put the puzzle together, then you found out something. That's why I try to dig in.
I asked Olivet why the factory owner didn't feel strange that he was still ordering ballots after election day.
They don't even understand English. So how they understand? They don't even know what they are printing. Their word printing is. They only care about money.
Olivet said that he asked the factory owner to send him videos and photos of what they printed before to prove that they did have the ability to print those kinds of materials. That's how he obtained these photos and videos we are seeing on the screen. The factory owner also showed Olivet this shipping record showing that their previous products were delivered to their customer via EMS service. Olivet said he had ordered 5,000 copies of fake ballots. These ballots were delivered to him via DHL, and he had given them to the White House. He spent over 5,000 to get the ballots done and then shipped it to him. Olivet also said that through his conversation with the factory owner, he learned that much bigger orders were made before.
But the guy just talked to me, said, your order is too low. We got a big customer. You have to give me more money.
According to Olivet, at least 1.5 million fake ballots had been printed in this factory alone. I asked him how he came up with his estimation.
First, I asked him, I said, if I order more, can you be cheaper? I asked the guy, the factory owner. Mm-hmm. He told me, and then he asked me how many you want to order. Then I told him 100K, 100 grand. Then he said he told me your order is low. If that price, we get the other customer, he already ordered $500,000 per month, at least. Then he showed me those videos. He said we got a lot. We don't care like those like small money. We get more big customer. If you want to deal with me, you gotta raising up the price. Or otherwise we cannot give you this kind of price. Then just do the math. August, September, October. So at least that is the minimum. That is the minimum. So 500,000 then times 3, then 1.5 minimum.
I then asked Olivites whether he believed similar things could also have happened at other factories in China.
Of course, you cannot put all the egg in one bucket. You have to, if for me, if I am the person who want to screw up the election, of course I will separate it, because once you separate it, that's more low risk.
I asked Olivites what happened after he made these discoveries. He said he tried to reach out to many media outlets, but all of them ignored him.
I tried to reach on CNN. I tried to reach on what's that called? I get all the list for you, because not only one. I get the list for you. I can send you later, or you can show on the screen somewhere. Yeah.
He did send me the list of the media outlets he tried to reach out to, as well as several other emails of him trying to get some other stories related to the corruption of the CCP and the Biden family published. But all his efforts failed. Olivite said he was very, very disappointed. He never expected that American media would become what they are today. Well, that's basically my interview with Olivite from a while ago. Maybe compared with some other more shocking and compelling evidence, what he found was relatively less significant and less direct, or it isn't strong enough to change the results of the election. However, I believe it is still important that I present what he found as a record to our history as well as for the future. Even if Biden will eventually become the next president of the United States, we still need to present and record the facts. Maybe someday everything will fall into the rightful places, and everything we do today, no matter how tiny, will still count. Okay, that's all for today. Truth, no matter how inconvenient, will be what ultimately sets us free. Please subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and help me spread the messages. Thank you. See you next time.